Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Fortin for Michigan Matters. It is Wednesday, October 29th, and I'm glad you're with us. And today I want to talk a little bit about technology in general. We are Michigan Matters. We're very concerned about our state. We're in very, very bad situation. We have an absolute evil state board of education. That's got to be corrected. I mean, it's just terrible. We have a socialist government in Michigan that hates business, and businesses are leaving Michigan when they're coming to America. We have so-called environmental wackos running around loose. They want fans, they want solar panels, they want all that, but at the same time, they support a non-experienced or inexperienced mining company in the Upper Peninsula in the Porcupine Mountains to dump wastewater into Lake Superior. Well, they say there's laws to regulate it. Yeah, so who obeys them? So they're allowing taxpayer money. I don't know if it's finalized yet or not. You should call your state senator, but they're allowing $50 million to the local community to develop this with a Canadian company that doesn't know how to mine in the Porcupine Mountains on the shore of Lake Superior. I mean, and then there's water issues in different areas around the state. We talked to Donna Brandenburg about that, and we're going to talk to her again and get an update. And there's more issues. We can't bring business to Michigan, but we can finance like red communist Chinese battery thing in Michigan. Now, gladly, that's been defeated, but they still own the land. How is it that our enemies own land in the United States? How is that? Anyway, we're going to be talking about all those things. But there's something lately that is irritating me, and I think it irritates a lot of people, and we have to focus on it just a little bit. So basically, that's what we're going to talk about for a few minutes. I'd like to start off, because this is important, because these decisions are made by companies, all the social media, and that type of thing. So I'd like to read you a quote from Theodore Roosevelt, President of the United States, in 1909. Now, 1909, to put your mind in the right thing, after the turn of the century, from the 1800s, the Model T was out there. Ford was producing tons of Model Ts and that type of thing. That's the era we're talking about. And he was president, and he said in a speech, I'm going to read it, it's a short paragraph, "Progress has brought us both unbounded opportunities and unbridled difficulties. Thus, the measure of our civilization will not be on that we have done much, but on what we have done with much. I believe that the next half century will determine if we will advance the cause of Christian civilization or revert to the horrors of brutal paganism. The thought of modern industry in the hands of Christian charity is a dream worth dreaming. The thought of industry in the hands of paganism is a nightmare beyond imagining. The choice between the two is upon us in 1909. And here we are in 2025, and look at our industry in this country. Show me one that does not operate like a bunch of money-grabbing pagans. General Motors just laid off some more managers. While America, our president, is making America business-friendly, and there's companies coming to America. But if you and I were co-CEOs of Toyota, and we decided to build a factory in the United States because of what the president is doing, we have 50 choices. Michigan's only one of them. Why in the hell would we pick Michigan? Are you kidding me? That's the dilemma we're in. About a month, maybe two ago, on this podcast, we talked about Mercedes-Benz leaving Detroit, going to Texas, 400 employees. GM is laying off, this one's laying off, businesses are closing, but we have a socialist government in the state of Michigan that's totally anti-business. I talked to a gentleman today, a company that owns property and a factory in Michigan, and they have property next door they want to expand. They haven't done it because it's been over a year and they can't get permits. They're going through the regulation crap of Michigan, and they're not going to do it. They wish they never would have invested here. I mean, that's jobs, ladies and gentlemen. But see, a socialist government's not interested in jobs. But anyway, I'm getting off my subject matter. I'm sorry, but I'm a little passionate on this total disaster called Michigan that we have got to work to fix. But anyway, so the reason I just want to bring it up this way, the love of technology we all have without ever looking at the downside. Do you remember Jurassic Park? Raise your hand if you watched it. I don't see many of you. But anyway, I'm sure a lot of you saw Jurassic Park. Now, Jurassic Park, if I'm not mistaken, had at least 3 different ones. You know, when you're really successful, they make a sequel. I believe it was the second one. And they had pretty much the same stars in it. And they were back on that island, right, full of dinosaurs, with a bunch of people. I forget the details, but I never forget this comment in this scene, where they're walking around in this island, and they're around a stream, and there's all these little tiny little dinosaurs, the ones that piled on that guy in the first one. But anyway, these people, that's the first ones they saw, right? They just arrived at the island. It's the first ones they saw was this bunch of little things running around, and oh man, look at this. They're all excited. But the guy, the star, a scientist, I forget his name, but he was there among them, and he said, this is the way it starts. Ooh, and ah. And it ends with running and screaming. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is technology today. I guess it kind of started. Of course, technology's been around a long time. There was technology in 1909, the technology of the day, and they proved this and proved that. But we eventually got to the point where we had computers and personal computers, right? And oh my gosh, ooh and ah, aren't they wonderful, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I know a guy working for an auto factory, and he has a laptop, okay? He's in management. And you should see this guy work. You go visit him, he's working. Sunday, he's working. These things have not made things easier for working people. They made it better for the companies to control an employee all day, every day. That's what they've done. Productivity, right? Well, people are chained to these dang computers all the time. And we have our young, how they use them, games and so on and so forth. A whole lot of negatives to the whole thing. But see, when it came out, we're all in love with it. We never think of the negatives. So then we got cell phones. Okay? I got one right here. These smartphones are literally that. They are a computer. And Lord only knows what all they're doing, but oh, they're so handy, and oh my gosh, I can use it for navigation. I can do this. I can research things online. Yes, I can do a lot of things. But what's it doing to us? What's it doing to our kids? What did it do to that poor girl in Carolina, was it, on public transportation, got stabbed? Did you see the film? She was like this. She was a total victim, just waiting there to be slaughtered. Because we're ladies, especially you ladies, don't walk around looking at these damn phones. Because you're a victim. Anybody that wants to take any kind of advantage, you're a victim waiting to be plucked. So anyway, and now we got drones, right? That's amazing. And now they go back to pre-COVID. They started coming out. And I remember going to a fireworks show, pre-COVID, pre the disaster called COVID. And the fireworks show started with a drone show. And here's these drones up there, had to be 100 of them or more. And they're making American flags or doing all this marvelous stuff. And I'm sitting there watching, and it was interesting. And everybody's going, ooh, the same thing as Jurassic Park, folks. Ooh, ah. And I'm sitting there, and I actually thought to myself, what could they do these things in the wrong hands? What could they do with these things in the wrong hands? No one looks at the downside of this stuff. Nobody. And the downside is there because our companies are corrupt. The people that run them are corrupt. Look at Facebook, all of them, Google. All about control, all about controlling your life, the way you think. I saw something on radio today. I think it was Ron Edwards, and he was talking about social media, that the people that share things, that 71% of the things shared on social media are negative. And negative in the sense that they're not true. That they're either stretching the truth or a bald-faced lie. The people, 70% tend to share things that are not true without looking at them. What is it about the human being, all of us, that tend to gravitate towards the negative or gravitate towards things that I've done it with friends because I kind of goof around a lot. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'll say something really goofy to a friend. Oh, did you hear that? Blah, blah, blah. And they always, no matter how obscenely ridiculous, the first response is, really? It's amazing. People almost want to believe something stupid. It's incredible. Like, don't know the difference between a man and a woman. How did that ever get to be an issue? Because the media allowed it to be. Years ago, the media would have looked at somebody like that and, what are you, nuts? And that would have been the end of it, because they are nuts. They got a mental issue. But the communists use it because they destroy your history, because you make the same mistakes over. History repeats. It repeats because we're fallen. We need a savior. And we all are sinners. So left to our own devices, we're going to do the same dumb crap and get the same dumb prizes that have been done in the past. So communism, to take over, have to have total chaos, which is all this gender garbage and all that kind of stuff. And they got to destroy the history. They tear down the statues and all this sort of thing, make people forget their history, so they have nothing to be grounded in. And they do all these things because that's how communism takes a country. Communism has taken over our education system, pure and simple. We are not our own masters. Our elected officials, I never call them representatives. We do have some. We have some representatives, but they're a minority. Most are elected officials that determine how we're going to live our life. And that's got to stop, especially in the state of Michigan. So after drones, now what's the biggie? AI. Now we see on our handheld computer, which is really a communicator. What do they call it in Star Trek? In Star Trek, remember Star Trek? Those of you who are old enough, do you remember Star Trek? Captain Kirk and all those guys? Well, they had communicators, right? The advanced cell phones of the past, so to speak. But anyway, these things more and more on Instagram and all these things, we have little cute babies talking, and one looks like Trump, and one looks like this, and one looks like that. We have all these videos that are AI generated. Soon we won't be able to tell reality from truth. Soon we'll be able to take a Bogart film and create an all-new Bogart film that you swear Bogart, who's been dead since the 1950s or 60s, did it. A new Bogart film that has been on the shelf for 50 years, and we just discovered it, and they'll have it out there. They can produce the whole thing without actors. They can produce anything on you or me. I mean, no one knows the limit of this AI thing, and no one seems to care. There's no legislation, there's no nothing, and if there's an issue and somebody wants to go to court, they say, well, we don't have a law covering that. Why not? What are they doing? What are these people that we're paying doing for the people of this state and this country? I just wanted to take a little bit of time today, we're almost done, to hopefully get people to start thinking about this, because if we become a digital ID nation, you can forget all the things you do. Maybe you use credit cards the majority of your purchases. I don't know. I try not to. I do use it a lot. I use it for gas all the time. Gas is so expensive and that kind of thing. But I try to use cash as much as possible, especially restaurants and things like that, in general purchases and that type of thing. Because if we don't have cash, we got major problems. They have the technology today to turn off your card. They have the technology today to prevent you from buying certain things. They have all this technology is there. But if they get a cashless society and a digital ID, you better be good, because you're going to be controlled 110%. You're not going to be passing a garage sale and, oh, let's stop at a garage sale, or you go to a flea market or any of those kind of things. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the cusp of totalitarianism and communism in the United States. In the next, like Laura Logan said, in the next year, we're going to know if we're going to be a free republic or a communist state. And if we fail, it's largely going to be in the back of the Republican Party that has done nothing when they've had opportunity to do things. Right now, Senator Thune has a mandate from his own state at 63%. In the presidential election, Trump has a mandate, which means our Congress has a mandate to straighten this mess up. And they are dragging their feet. This doggone Speaker of the House, where's one person said to me last week, almost done, I promise. They said, where's the investigations? Under Biden, that's all we had was investigations. What's Congress investigating? Anyway, I want to thank you for being with us today. Go to our website, michiganmatters.org. We are having a Christmas party on December 4th, and you can check that out there. You can get tickets there, that type of thing. We appreciate the support. You can donate online too. We'd really appreciate it if you like this channel, because it really kind of helps get the word out. We're going to be covering a whole lot of things that affect Michigan. Some of them affect the whole country. But we do have some decent state reps in Michigan, and they are really fighting. However, we don't have the Senate. Next year, we will have the Senate, we will have the governorship, and we will have the House. Once we have them all, will the Republicans continue to fight, or will they fall back to what they normally do, nothing, for 2 years, and give it back to the Democrats? We have to prevent that, and we have to teach the voters that Trump is on the ballot next year. He is on the ballot next year. If we lose the House and Senate in Washington, we will have 2 years of impeachment. That's all we'll have. And this revolution, the mega revolution, will be done. And we will revert to socialism. I want to thank you all. Pray for your families, pray for our country, pray for our state. God bless you all, and see you next week.